lights went off. Okay, be quiet.
All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome to the quarterly membership meeting. I'm Tim Keyports, the president of the Old Seminole Heights Neighborhood Association, and we've got quite a lineup of activities to cover tonight. So we'll go ahead and just start walking through it. As a reminder, the meeting will be recorded and we'll put it out on our YouTube channel tomorrow or the next day. There's also a chat window if you have any questions. I see that Michael Cohen has already put a website that anyone that's interested in the solar option for their home, there's a website for you to look at. Caitlin Parrish is with TPD, and likewise she's there to answer any specific questions if you want to go one-on-one or put it into the group chat, and I'll try to occasionally pull that up and take a look. I'm also making sure that we don't have any additional folks trying to join in. So if I pause, it's probably just because I'm letting more folks in. So I'm going to go ahead and just get started. You see the lineup there. We do have quite a bit to cover. I do see we have a few political candidates who have joined in. So I've seen Rick Fernandez and Jen McDonald is joining now. So we'll acknowledge our political candidates, and if they would like to say 1 or 2 minutes, if we've got time later on in the meeting, we'll turn it over to them.
Yeah, Tim,
so yes, go ahead.
Could I just call the roll of the board because I can't see everybody who's here?
Okay, you got me as the
You're
president.
here, I'm here. Lynn, Jeffrey, Alyssa. I see Michael's name.
I saw Jeffrey.
Oh, did you?
Now I'm here. Martha.
I'm here.
Martha's here. Debbie's
Yeah,
here.
there's
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Is Debbie here? Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, if I see anybody else, Bill, Charles is online,
Okay.
and I know that Alyssa was not going to be able to attend.
Oh, okay. All right,
So
very good. Thank you.
you bet. Okay, for those who use Nextdoor, it's got a new feature if you haven't seen it, called the Help Map, which is on a very positive note. There's a lot of things that unfortunately happen on Nextdoor for those of us who try to tamp down the negativity, but this is a really positive feature that they've recently added. So if you are inclined to want to help your neighbor, as it says there on the left side, pick up groceries or give somebody a ride, you can designate yourself on the map. Obviously, it also designates where you live, so a little bit of caution there. But nonetheless, if you go onto Nextdoor and you hover over those green dots, you can see and connect privately with those individuals, and they can help you out, pick up groceries, pharmaceuticals, or whatever you need, maybe a ride to the doctor. So I thought it was pretty neat that Old Seminole Heights is already starting to populate nicely on the map. Caitlin, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you if you'd like to give us an update on what's happening in the Tampa Police Department.
Absolutely. Hello, guys. My name's Caitlin Parrish. I'm with Tampa Police Department.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael, if you'd like to go ahead and do the...
I just want to introduce Caitlin Parrish. Yeah, Caitlin's our new neighborhood affairs liaison, as it shows on the slide. She's been great to work with, very engaging, and we definitely want to welcome her because she has a lot of great ideas and is trying to make a lot of changes to make our lives better. So with that, I want to hand it off to Caitlin.
Hey, guys. Sorry about that. So as Michael said, I am the new neighborhood affairs liaison with District 2 for Tampa Police Department. I've been with the department about 6 years. So I'm not new to the department, just new to the position since December. So as Michael said, I've had a lot of ideas that I think would be great to be able to implement for the community and for a lot of my groups. So we do a weekly recap, as you guys can see on the screen. And what that weekly recap is it goes through all of recent updates or anything the mayor puts out, anything that's pertinent, I'll include on there with a photo and then a link directly to that page, so that way everybody can obtain the information. So kind of just to go over the recap from this week, obviously we want to implement the face mask covering. So the mayor was doing a face mask covering contest. I believe those submissions have ended, but if anybody needs face masks or knows of anybody who does need them, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my contact information in the information part of it, and you guys can give me a call if you know somebody's homebound, etc. So we do have COVID testing sites, which do change periodically about every 2 weeks. So there is a list of those, which is also found on tampagov.net. So all this information you can find on the city website. Rise Tampa is doing a business release grant. It's their third phase. So if anybody you know has a small business, tell them to go in and fill the application, because they are taking the applications as of now. So every month we typically do a neighborhood watch meeting, and the month of August, we're going to be focusing on back to school and the challenges, as well as occupant safety topics. So that's kind of upcoming, but just to kind of go over the area where you guys are at in Old Seminole Heights, I pulled some statistics, and unfortunately we couldn't have an officer here with us. But just to kind of go over some of those statistics. So from July 1st to today, up until about 4 p.m. when I ran these statistics, total calls to date in our, as you can see on that map, D5 and D6 is where you guys are located for the most part. So obviously some of that area pertains to you and some does not, but for the most part, that's Old Seminole Heights. In those two sections, in all those little grids, which you see those little dots down there with the numbers, those are our grids. There was 1,912 calls for service and self-initiated calls. So that seems like a big number, but realistically, most of those calls, if not more than half of them, were calls initiated by an officer out on scene. So it was proactive patrolling, it was traffic stops, it was driving through the communities, foot patrol, community relations. So that's great to see that, because those numbers are not because of a lot of crime, it's because we're out there doing a lot of proactive work. Some of the, what we call our big fours, so the more violent crimes, home auto burglaries, home burglaries, such like that. From the 1st to the 14th, we had very little, actually, only 6 auto burglaries, 2 stolen vehicles, no home burglaries. That's awesome. And then from the 15th to today, we had 4 home burglaries, but that could also be unfounded at this point. 8 auto burglaries and 3 stolen vehicles. We did have a handful of ag assaults and batteries, but that just comes with the nature of the game, where we're at that time of the year, unfortunately, where we do see a spike in that. So those are kind of the statistics, just to give you guys an idea. But we are trying to reamp our program, trying to get people involved. We have 21 active neighborhood watch groups in District 2, which is where you see that map is coverage. And then I also cover New Tampa as well. That's actually not on that map. So the New Tampa area, also all the way up to County Line Road, is, District 2 is quite large. So we're always looking for volunteers. If you guys have any questions, comments, or ever need anything, I'm going to be on the whole meeting. So if something pops up, feel free to ask.
All right, well, Caitlin, thank you very much for the update. I'm going to let Michael jump in if he's got any comments, since he is the chair for the Safety Awareness Committee.
No comments from my end. I'm very appreciative of Caitlin, and one thing I want to work with you on is, Caitlin, is driving down which grids are actually in OSHNA, and maybe we can get some better metrics if it's easier to filter that way. But I can work with you on that offline.
Of course.
Okay, and then just as a reminder, thanks, Michael, there's the chat window available. We are looking for neighborhood watch coordinators. As Caitlin pointed out, the grids on the screen there. If anybody has not seen this map before, you know, we start there in the bottom left corner, grid 57, but I also want to point out that that bottom line is Hillsborough. And so we touch D3 with the Old Seminole Heights dropping down below Hillsborough. So maybe next time we'll have the D3 coordinator liaison join us as well. So it is a very big footprint. And as Caitlin pointed out, we've got a few neighborhood blocks that do need some additional assistance. So if you're interested, you can always send an email to Michael or to Involved at Old Seminole Heights. Okay, we're going to move on. So Michael Cohen, hopefully you're still online. The neighborhood has expressed a lot of interest in solar and the Hillsborough Co-op getting started up. We thought this would be a good opportunity for you to walk us through the latest.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes, Michael, we can hear you.
Okay. As you can see from the screen, we did 2 co-ops in Hillsborough in 2019, and those are the houses that went solar, 85 of them. The website that's above it is where you can find more information about the co-op. I put it in the chat room, so you can go to the next slide. Do you guys watch HGTV? Hit the button again. Solar has a better return on investment than granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and showers that you can fit your SUV in. Go to the next. Since 2015, 1,700 homes have gone solar in the 57 co-ops throughout Florida. That's about $35 million worth of investment. Solar United Neighbors was founded in DC, and we are now in 12 other states. Florida is the biggest. We started that as an affiliate to them and then officially joined. The League of Women Voters have given us tremendous support across the state. There are also 4 other co-ops open in Lake County, Orlando, Orange County, Broward, and Miami. So if you have any of your friends in those areas, tell them about it. You can go to the next slide. This is how a system works. The sun hits your panels, number 1. It energizes a whole bunch of electrons, and it produces DC power. Unfortunately, your house runs on AC, so it goes to an inverter and converts to AC. If your house needs electricity, it goes right to your panel seamlessly, and you have power. But if it's, say, in April, and the windows are open, and you don't have the air on, you don't have heat going, you don't have a lot of light, and you don't need all that power you're generating, it goes back on the grid, and your utility will pay you 1-to-1. So it pays you the retail rate that you would be paying for the electricity that you send out on the grid. Now, chances are it doesn't go very far. It probably powers your neighbor. So it's right there in your community. But that's how solar is affordable. So for every time you don't need an electron or a kilowatt hour, you get reimbursed for it on your, as a credit on your electric bill. Next slide. Now, co-ops work by getting groups of people like yourselves in the whole county of Hillsborough, and we educate them. Normally, we do in-person info sessions, but because of the virus, we're doing them all online. And we educate people. They sign up. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. You're not obligated to anything until you sign a contract with the installer. The installer gets a great deal. It can cost them $3,000 to $5,000 to find one person and sign them. We hand them 150 to 250 people that are interested and educated about going solar. So it lowers their costs substantially. So you get a great value. Now, when we get about 30 people in the co-op, we send out requests for proposals to all the installers that have registered with us all across the state of Florida. And we usually get 4 to 10 bids, and they give one bid. They can't negotiate, and they say what their costs are, what their additional costs are. And one evening, homeowners that have signed up to become participants in the co-op get together, and now it's virtually on a Zoom call, and select one installer for the whole group. Then the installer gets the list of all the homes on the list, and we continue to build that list. So you tell your neighbors and friends, and then eventually it gets up to 200 people maybe. The installer starts with the first person who signed up and goes through the list. And his job is to go and give you a customized proposal for your house. So what works on my house probably won't work on your house. And you get to select from a variety of panels and add-ons, whether you want a battery or whether you want something that needs something else. Now, the advantage of a co-op is you get a whole bunch of people to help you. The woman in the picture in the lower right-hand corner is Julia Herbst. She's the local representative for the west coast of Florida. And she'll answer your questions, or you can email floridateam@solarunitedneighbors.org. And that's a picture of the whole staff across the country. So there's a lot of people behind you when you get solar. If you think this installer is saying you need something that you don't think you need, you can ask our staff and they will tell you whether that's appropriate or not. And then you can join up with solar enthusiasts on the listserv, and there you can find out about EVs and solar and batteries and this kind of panel and that kind of panel. And then we get into pricing, and we'll just take the 8 kilowatt system. That's about average for Florida. And the price point approximately is $2.25 a watt. You don't price solar by the panel, you price it by the watt. Different panels produce different amounts of electricity. So by pricing it at a watt, you can compare this panel or this system to another system. So the base price would be $18,000. If you get your system installed before January 1 and it's operable, you get a tax credit of 26%. That'll drop down January 1st, depending on the politics that happen this year. So you knock off $4,680. That's a tax credit, not a deduction. So your net cost is $13,320. Your first year's savings of electricity ballpark might be $1,300. Over 10 years, that's $14,300, and that's not a bad multiplication. That's because the price of electricity will probably go up between now and 10 years from now. Now, if you divide 14,300, your savings over 10 years divided by the cost, you're getting an average annual return of 10.7% I don't know about you, but my bank account doesn't pay that, and my bond funds don't pay that. So that's a really good cash investment if you happen to have the cash. And the lifetime of a solar system is about 25 years warranty. And so you're going to get $40,000 return. So that's about a $26,000 profit over 25 years. Your solar system will still work. And then we'll talk about the last slide. Remember, sign up now and you can be on the selection committee for the August selection meeting. We have 4 one-hour webinars that are coming. The co-op will close 10/16 of this year. If you wait that long, you probably won't get your install to get your tax credit. So the sooner you do it, the better you're going to get it. For some reason, it washed out the addresses of all the other co-ops. If you go to the website, there's a button that's circled there in green, join the co-op. There's another place to click under the house that says events. That will take you to where the webinars are. So that's basically 10 minutes of solar that normally is an hour and a half.
Michael, Michael, that was great. You and Julia, you're doing phenomenal stuff. I've talked to Julia through email multiple times trying to coordinate, set this up on behalf of the membership. So great overview. If anybody in the crowd is interested, I had them come out and evaluate my house, and it was great information. Hence the reason they're on the presentation tonight. So certainly not a plug, but it's completely your decision which way you want to go. But a co-op is most likely going to get you much better pricing than if you were to go to a independent solar installer. But of course, due diligence is your responsibility. So again, Michael, thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight. And if anybody's got any questions,
have a good meeting.
Yes, sir. All right, you take care.
Email Florida team at solarunitedneighbors.org, and they'll get back to you. Okay, bye.
All right, Michael, thank you. And as he pointed out, solarunitedneighbors.org/Hillsborough is on the screen. It's faded out for some reason. So that's the link you ought to be going to, not obviously Broward. I'm going to stop for just a second, and if Jen McDonald or Rick Fernandez or any other political candidate, if you want to pop something into the chat window, if you have like 1 minute, just a quick little say hello to the crowd, that'd be great. Rick, why don't you start, and I'll see if Jen is still with us.
Okay, Tim, thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
We're good? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Certainly appreciate the moment to say hello. These are odd times, and we don't get a chance to talk to our future constituencies very often. OSHNA has probably had its fill of me over the course of the last several years, and recently, of course, we've just had the candidate forum. So you've heard what I've had to say probably ad nauseum at MPO meetings and political fora. I'm particularly, I guess, interested today just to make sure everybody understands and knows and gets the word out that the election primary, Democrat, is August 18. We have early vote starting August 3, which is literally around the corner. And of course, the mail-in ballots are already activated. Please understand you need to get those ballots in soon. There's an issue as to when they're actually received as opposed to when they're postmarked. So you got to be careful about that. Make sure you get your ballots in early. I have a website up on the chat. My phone number is 786-837-3818. Anybody that would care to talk to me directly, I will make myself available at any time, anywhere. And I thank you so much for your courtesy, and I appreciate your neighborliness. Thank you, Tim. I'll cede.
Okay, thank you, Rick. And I'm looking for Jen in the participants. She must be having a connection issue. She's popped in and out several times. I don't see her right now. I'll come back to her if she shows up. If there are any other candidates, if you'll put something into the chat window, I'll turn to you. I don't recognize any names. So we'll just keep on moving here. So I'd like to just take a quick minute to say thanks to Michael Gwynn, who I think you all know has been the lead for the last month. I had to step away for work responsibilities for the MRG 3D print lab, making the Halo shields. There was a program about 3 weeks ago where people could vote for the COVID-19 Hero Awards. There were 59 nominees. And of course, they selected 19 groups. There were a few individuals, but for the most part, it was groups ranging from folks at the hospitals, doctors, nurses, other frontline medical personnel, to a couple of ladies that had a diaper service that they turned on a nickel to make sure that those who need that service could still have it. Well, Michael and I were honored for the work that was put into the Halo face shields, and I'll turn it over to Michael real quick if you've got any other comments.
No other comments really. It's just, proud to be helping our neighborhood, and proud of our neighborhood for all pitching in and to be helping the effort. We made a great impact over really all of Central Florida. We're shipping them all over the nation now. So it's been nice that our community started this and what it's grown to be now.
And I did a poor job when we were talking to the mayor Michael stated there were 14 volunteers throughout the neighborhood. We should also acknowledge the other leadership that was involved right at the beginning. Christ Fellowship Church, who stepped up and provided the space. And then, of course, all of you, plus many, many others who donated funds to pay for, and in this image, you can see the filament on those rolls. Costs a lot of money, let alone the printers themselves that Michael donated to the cause. So if you have any interest, there's the Facebook page at the bottom. You can follow along with the adventure that continues over 100 days at this point. Last count I heard was 42,000. Michael, what are you up to now?
It's roughly the same. We haven't hit 43 yet.
Okay. So again, if you want to get any more information, you can reach out to that Facebook page and follow along there. So I'm going to keep on moving. I don't know if Mauricio Rosas or Doug Jessup had a chance to jump onto the Zoom meeting. I'll look for their names in the chat window in just a second. But Mauricio reached out to the folks running the Heights Mobility Study. He continues to regularly beat them about the Head and Shoulders because it's taking way too long. But they did actually send us back a concept slide in the upper left. That's south of Hillsborough. You can see the lights there. That's Florida Avenue. And then the lights that are kind of in the on the end of the slide image, that's Florida Avenue. So this is Florida and Giddens, right where Ichikoro and the apartment complex next to Red Star Rock Bar are located. They are planning on installing, this will be next year. My understanding, 2021 will be a crosswalk with they call it a pedestrian safe zone. Alex Henry, who works at FDOT, he's the one that provided this slide. He could not join us tonight. I asked him about the light that was potentially going to go in at Idlewild and Florida Avenue, of course, north of Hillsborough. And he was going to put a slide together, but got called away for another project. But it would be something like the concept slide on the right bottom corner, except instead of just a crosswalk, we understand it might actually be a stoplight. So potentially either at Clifton, which would be just south of Bodega, which is on the right-hand side, and Mandarin Heights, or just north of that at Idlewild, where the new Height apartment is located. If you've ever been out there on a Friday or Saturday night, later in the evening, pre-COVID, very busy as people walk back and forth across the street there to get to the front porch or some of the other venues. So I know sometimes we beat up on FDOT, and maybe sometimes it's warranted, but on the other hand, as we continue to push, again, that's Doug Jessup and Mauricio Rosas in our Highways and Byways Committee. We are eventually going to see progress, hopefully next year. So again, throw some comments into the chat window if you've got any questions on that. This is a pitch for additional street safety. So we noted that the City of Tampa had a big push to paint some mural intersections downtown. And that was a Jane Castor initiative. So we reached out to the city, and Danny Jorgensen, you can see her as the POC there, called back and said, yes, the city wants to do more installations. I reminded them that, in fact, we've already done 3 in our neighborhood. So that's Cleveland Elementary in the bottom left. And then the other 2 are street murals up in the northeast section of our neighborhood. And the city apparently has got some money to throw at this initiative. So I asked Mauricio to identify dangerous intersections. So, you know, he is putting that list together. It's about 4 of them right now, but he is unable to kind of carry the load on this one. It really doesn't take that much. We've got a few resident experts who have put street murals together with the city. So if somebody would be willing to step up as a lead, we can give you the handbook, and we can hook you up with Susan Albert, who led the effort for those bottom 2 right murals, which are already done and installed, and get a few more put into our neighborhood. In addition, Urban Art Attack, which is a community group that does art in our area, has offered to partner with OSHNA and do street murals. They would like to target Nebraska specifically for various reasons, and they're looking at Nebraska and Osborne, south of Hillsborough, and then potentially Nebraska. I forget the cross street, but it's where the new apartment complex is going in, kind of diagonally across from the post office. There's a new bar restaurant venue going in there. In fact, there's 2 of them going in. So again, we anticipate there'll be a lot of foot traffic going back and forth across Nebraska. So if you are interested and you've got some time on your hands, we would love to have someone step up, maybe somebody who hasn't been able to be involved prior, and help lead that effort. Plenty of people to support you. So just send an email to involved@oldseminoleheights.org, and we'll get you plugged in. The next topic I wanted to cover is the upcoming elections. So hopefully we'll be able to actually meet in person in October. Don't know that that'll happen, but I reached out to our elections chair, Rich Yates, and he provided the information that's on the slide there. So the big picture is October 28th is our next quarterly membership meeting, and we will do our voting at that point. Prior to that, we have a nomination period, which we are in now. The nomination period is now open. So if you or any of your neighbors would like to nominate someone to be a member of the board, you can do so. And you can see the email address that that nomination needs to be sent to. Nominations do close the end of August. So we've still got over a month at this point. It could be as simple as I nominate person X to be a trustee of the OSHNA board. Ideally, you would include a few additional qualifications. We would then reach out to that individual, ask them to prepare a short bio, and we would then publish that in our next newsletter so that the membership has a better understanding of who our nominees are. And then we'll actually go through the voting process. The last couple of years, we've had pretty light nominations. So we have actually ended up just doing affirmation because we've had either 4 or 5 positions open, and we have not had the requirement to do any kind of a runoff, an actual election, but we are prepared to do that. If you'd like to vote, you do have to be a member and effective not later than September 30th. So if your membership is about to lapse, or you know somebody that's moved into the neighborhood recently, make sure that they do renew so that they are eligible to vote. If Lynn Hertak or Tim Burke are on, if they would like to speak to this slide, I'm going to take a quick look at the chat window while you all take a look at that. And I see we still have a few people that are joining the meeting. So just as a reminder, we are recording this meeting. I know that there are several other associations that have meetings tonight. I was invited to the Southeast Seminole Heights Community Association meeting tonight. It just started, so we've had people popping in and out. So I'll go ahead and speak to this. It does not look like Lynn is online at the moment. She may have jumped over to one of the other association meetings. So huge kudos to Tim Burke and Lynn Hertak for hosting 3 political debates. All of them were recorded, and you can see that they are posted here to our new YouTube page. So big plug for both of them. In addition to the actual debates where we had a moderator asking targeted questions, we offered all candidates for the various races to put together a 2-minute video kind of laying out their platform, and those are also on our YouTube page. So you can see on this slide, bottom left, Hillsborough School District 7 debate, and then next to that is the Meet the Candidates. So there's a quick little 2-minute video for each candidate. So if you're one of those folks that Rick Fernandez mentioned as having a ballot in hand and you have no idea who you want to vote for, I would definitely encourage you to spend a little bit of time. You don't have time to watch the full debates, 10 minutes or so, and you can at least get a 2-minute pitch from each of the candidates. This is just a slideshow, so I can't actually take you live, but that's on our YouTube page, and all you have to do is go to YouTube and you can see it's Old Seminole Heights Neighborhood Association. And if we had a drum roll, I'd be even more excited, but we have spent the last year working with the Hillsborough County. We got a grant to rebuild our website, as well as roll out an app, a phone app. So in the upper left, you'll see the new format for the Old Seminole Heights Neighborhood Association website. Again, it's not live, it's just a picture, but it's a much cleaner interface. So if you're looking for in-depth information about our neighborhood association, if you want to join, if you want to donate, if you want to purchase a flag, a neighborhood watch sign for your yard, any other information about the association in depth, it's on our website. So that's fairly static information. On the upper right, that's a screenshot of the iPhone App Store. And if you search Old Seminole Heights, you'll find this app. And I then downloaded it. So once you download an app, then it becomes the word open. If you hit the open, then it opens up your new app. And of course, once it's on your phone, you can just go straight to the app. It is live, it is working. So if you were to go to that app right now and click on calendar, you'd see this meeting that we're hosting right now, including Lynn Works of Magic, and the Zoom link is embedded right into that calendar. Somebody asked me earlier today if I could just open that up, pop onto the calendar, and then link it directly to my personal calendar. And that feature is also enabled. Not 100% sure it works fully yet, but My understanding is it will drop your appointment for this meeting straight onto your own personal calendar so you don't forget. Again, that's a screenshot. If you were to scroll down past gallery and calendar, there's additional information. Check out the new app. When you run into somebody at a porch party or at a other event and you find out that they live in our area and they say, oh, I've always thought about joining the neighborhood association, you don't have to whip out your old paper application, which I've got a few of in my glove box still. You can actually just open up the app, and in the bottom corner where it talks about the neighborhood association, there's a QR code. They can take a picture of that and it'll take them straight to the app themselves. They can join directly in there through the membership button. There's also a feature for businesses to join if they're interested. So again, huge kudos to the team. That includes Alyssa Getzoff, Debbie Johnson. They've been working on this for at least a year. Thank you again to the county for providing the funds to allow us to get a technology guru to put together the app. It does have a few minor little tweaks we've got to make to it, but it is getting better day by day. The last thing I'll say on this slide is Lynn and Tim have done a great job recapturing our social media platforms. So we do have an Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all of those can be found on our website. So if you really want to follow along with everything that's happening in OSHNA, and there is a lot, you can pop onto Instagram and you can see the July bungalow alert. This is in the bottom left corner. All those videos I showed you on the previous slide are inside YouTube. And after this meeting is captured, we'll pop that onto YouTube as well. And then Tim and Lynn regularly tweet on Twitter. So if you're tired of reading what the president has to say, you can see what's happening in your local neighborhood on Twitter. That largely concludes the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and pause.
Solar.
And I'm going to turn on the chat. And somebody had a question about solar? I think I heard somebody in the background asking a question about solar. Was there a question out there? Okay, and I'm going to do one more call for any political candidates that might have joined late. Just like Rick, we want to give everyone an opportunity to put in their pitch. I do not see anyone. Again, Caitlin, you don't need to respond, but I see you're still on. Thank you very much for the TPD update. Rick did depart. He's off and joined another meeting already. And for everyone else, continue to stay safe. If anything comes up, again, shoot an email over to involved@oldseminoleheights.org. As I mentioned, we are still looking for somebody to lead the street mural project. And I will pause and I will go ahead and unmute folks if you guys have any other comments.
I don't know if the solar guy's still on or not. Is it can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Tom.
Hey, so the solar co-op is cash only, right?
No, I tried to answer you in the chat window. He was using that as an example. If you were to pay cash, then your return on investment, that's how he was calculating that. You can certainly finance solar. There is no requirement. My understanding, again, I'm not a solar expert or part of this co-op, but you can finance this any way you want. When the gentleman stopped by my house, we talked about that briefly, but he was simply using that as an example.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there any, do they have any other financing sources?
When they stopped by, they were showing me a number of options. I mean, certainly you can do personal financing. I understand in some cases you can roll it into a mortgage refinance. because of course you're significantly enhancing your property value by having a solar panels. And as he indicated, these are like with a 25-year warranty. So when they stopped and spoke to me, they mentioned the fact that a lot of people opt to have a new roof installed at the same time, because putting solar panels on a 20-year-old roof doesn't make a lot of sense, because obviously the roof needs to be replaced and you have to take solar panels off to replace the shingles. So
There's a break-even point on when they'll allow you to do that too.
that is correct. Yeah, and obviously your background as a realtor, you're familiar with that as well.
Thank you.
And Ms. Horton, I forgot your first name. You asked a question about joining late and about the solar information. We are going to record this. We have been recording this video, this Zoom meeting, and we'll have that out on our YouTube page soon. I will go back to that slide for you, and you can see it right here, solarunitedneighbors.org/Hillsborough. I know it says Broward. Hillsborough's on the slide. It's grayed out for some reason. I think it's Cindy. So in any case, if you've got further questions, you can throw it into the chat. But the website's pretty comprehensive. I've been through it a few times. There's also an email at the bottom. I believe Michelle Zareta, you had asked about the website. So it's there at the bottom, the Florida team, FL team at solarunitedneighbors.org. The last thing I'll say, again, I vetted them to the point of they're a co-op. It's a nonprofit. It's a national organization. They are in multiple states. So I felt comfortable enough to share this to the group. There are other venues that you can get solar on your house if that's really your passion and you want to pursue it. Obviously, be a smart consumer and get multiple bids. But when I checked on them, this was the group that came up as being independent. And obviously, buying in bulk is how they're able to get you a good price. So I see you said thank you there, Ms. Horton. So does anybody else have any questions? I tried to unmute folks. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting out unless somebody wants to put something in chat.
Just like to say for the first time doing this that you did a great job.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. And for your
Yes,
record,
I second that.
are we going to take a vote? I do not see that. I don't think
No.
Debbie joined in. All right. Well, it was great seeing everyone. Thanks again for attending the meeting. And again, we'll have this posted out onto our YouTube page. And don't forget to spread the word about the app. Urge your neighbors to get involved. All right. Everybody have a great evening.
Thank you, Tim.
Stay
Bye,
safe.
Tim.